This is a short film about a former residential care home in the London Borough of Havering and Havering Council's attempt to sell it off for redevelopment.
Hello folks, my name is Jeff and I'm a resident of Collier Row, Romford. I'm making this film to highlight what can only be described as a morally bankrupt process in which Havering Council, in collusion it seems with the developer, is seeking to maximise its income from the sale of Hampden Lodge without any regard for the wishes of the local community.
Last year, the award-winning house builder, Bellway, submitted a planning application to redevelop Hampden Lodge. Local people were justifiably outraged at the scale of the development, and the application was effectively rejected. Although the council told Bellway why it had rejected their application, remarkably, it decided not to tell the public. Bellway submitted a new application about a month ago.
I must say that when I first received details of the new application, I was pleasantly surprised. 48 flats is still far too many in my view, but at least it was a move in the right direction. Or so I thought.
The new application is a proposal to demolish the existing building and construct 3 blocks of flats up to 4 stories in height. Although the headline figure has gone down from 58 to 48, the number of bedrooms and therefore the scale of the proposed development has actually gone up.
In spite of a 1,000 signature petition, dozens of letters of objection, a protest meeting outside Hampden Lodge, support from our local MP and from many councillors, Bellway, with the tacit approval of the council, has come back with an even bigger proposal. Now what does that tell you about Bellway? And what does it tell you about the council? It tells me that they both have absolutely no regard for the views of local residents. All they're interested in is money.
Bellway want to erect 3 blocks of flats in a horseshoe configuration facing the back gardens of Clockhouse Lane and Highfield Road. Here's a view of the proposed development from the back gardens. Note the roof terraces and the profusion of balconies. For comparison purposes, I've also included a view of the old application.
I went to see a recently completed Bellway development in Romford a few weeks ago, of a similar type to what Bellway is proposing for Hampden Lodge. I must say that I was shocked when I turned the corner and saw what looked like an airport terminal building next to a row of 2-storey houses. Here's one of the blocks. The true scale of the proposed development only really becomes apparent if it can be seen alongside an example of what planners call the local built environment. In the case of Collier Row, 3-bedroom semis.
I think anyone with an ounce of common sense would say that the proposed development is out of keeping in both scale and design with the local environment. However, in spite of this, Bellway claim that, and I quote, "The proposed layout and scale of the development has been designed with careful consideration given to the surrounding area."
There are many problems with the proposed development. Loss of privacy, loss of light, lack of car parking spaces, lack of amenities and so on. But they all stem from one thing and one thing only, and that is its scale. Take for instance the impact that Block C will have on the residents of Highfield Road.
With such a tall building, it is immoral for Bellway to suggest that there will be no loss of privacy to existing properties. Any fool can see that that will not be the case. I can see our gardens becoming places to avoid at certain times of the day because of the fear of being watched, even if only by casual observers.
I can also see the lack of car parking spaces being a major issue if this development goes ahead, because although Bellway has allocated 1 space per flat, Everyone knows that these days this is not enough.
Bellway's transport statement was obviously written by someone who doesn't know the area. It suggests that, even though 48 spaces is more than adequate, if it turns out that more are required, a dead cert in my view, considerable excess capacity exists along Linwood Drive and Highfield Road. Well, for long periods of the day, this is simply not the case, as you can see.
The thing that left me speechless when I read Bellway's transport statement was the suggestion that with 48 car parking spaces on site, as opposed to the current 13, there would be a net decrease in the number of trips to and from the site. Now, I've lived near Hampden Lodge for over 33 years, and the number of vehicles entering and leaving the site was always tiny. To suggest that it's going to be even less, with upwards of 150 young to middle-aged people on site, is quite frankly nonsense.
Bellway may be an award-winning house builder, but it will never win any awards for community relations if it carries on like this. Would it be too much to ask Bellway to consult local residents before embarking on a scheme like this? Having said this, in my view, Havering Council is mostly to blame for this depressing situation, because the fact that Bellway has found it necessary to submit a plan to massively overdevelop the site in order to make a profit suggests to me that the council is asking too high a price for the site. In other words, the council is defining the scale of the development, not Bellway. I'd like to see Bellway withdraw its application and negotiate with the council to build a smaller estate.
I'm sure that what my neighbours and I have experienced this past year is not unique. In fact, I'd be surprised if it wasn't widespread. The situation we find ourselves in is one where a powerful and secretive administration is prepared to ride roughshod over the will of the people to boost its coffers. The council is apt to spout regulation upon regulation to defend its actions. But what's missing from its thought processes is a fundamental lack of humanity. Council staff would do well to remember, there but for the grace of God go I. Thanks for listening.